85 years old. What's the premium on that life insurance policy going to be like? It's going to be real high.
Same thing with pre-existing, though.
Same thing with pre-existing, exactly. Exactly. Which is why I would suggest the market has a real good way, a real efficient way of pricing that risk. And that's through the relative differences in premiums. Not making premiums exactly the same, but charging different people with different levels of risk, different premiums based upon the level of risk. Okay? That's the way it is in auto insurance. We deal with that just fine. It's the way it is in life insurance. It's the way it is in other property and casualty insurance. For some reason, we believe it can be different in health insurance. I'm here to submit to you that it can't be. Or if we try to make it, it will increase costs tremendously in order to do so. We don't even realize the degree to which we will bear much higher costs. We'll be shifting. We're just shifting costs on to other people. We do that through insurance no matter what. We shift costs on to other people. Okay? But if we are higher risk, we also pay more in premium to cover that cost. Okay? You know that with your auto policy. Right? Don't get a speeding ticket. Don't get in too many wrecks. You get dropped here. Premiums will go up, right? The same way with healthcare. But we're somehow under the impression that, well, it doesn't count with healthcare. Because healthcare is so much more important, right? And I would agree, it is more important. And that's why I would argue it's more important that we allow a market to determine the allocation of healthcare coverage as opposed to government mandate, because it is more important than auto insurance. Okay, I don't know what that.
Yeah, but you know, the free market's already doing that. They're coming in now saying there's no fee for pre-existing, but there is for getting old.
Right, right. All right, I don't want to take up all the time. Any more last questions here? And maybe I'll come up at the end. Yes, one more.
How do you deal with this, the little group of pre-existing that's so expensive that you can't, if there would be no insurance, and that you would deny the premiums are so high that you can't pay? How do you deal with that as, you know, as a family? Then you get basically become unproductive because you can't work. You have to live on government. How do you deal with that in a perfect world?
Yeah, well, there's no perfect world, first of all. But from an economic point of view, yeah, a private market, I believe, would exist for those people, and there will be competition in that market to provide those people. If there's money to be made in providing insurance to people who are high risk, there will be suppliers in that market who will compete to reach that market. And in order to reach that market, they will have to provide a product at a price that those consumers are willing and able to pay. That's the demand side of the market. They'll have to meet the demand in that market. We have for so long kind of been really without a total competitive market in healthcare and in healthcare insurance that because we have Medicare and Medicaid, most insurance companies don't seek out those marginal customers. There's no market for it because the government is already covering it. If the government is already covering it, then why go into that market and why create a product that will tap into that? But if the government were not, there will be a profit opportunity for that, and I believe you would see a provision of a competitive product. That's not to say that somebody with a pre-existing condition is not going to pay a higher price for their health insurance. They will. Okay, my wife is a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, child onset diabetic. Okay, if she had to get insurance on her own, she could get it, but it would be much higher than if she were covered through my group policy. Okay, but the point is, the market would be much more competitive if there weren't already the government subsidies and the regulations that you see. So that's how we try to answer that anyways. All right, I'll turn it over to Jack, and he'll introduce our next speaker.
So Ron and Joe are going to give a quick speech, but we are going to take a 5-minute break. So feel free to get up and use the restroom. It is Fat Tuesday, and there are sweets that they're obligated to. And I'm going to keep talking, but feel free to get up and do